Today begins the second week of the work of our $100 room challenge, where I am giving our basement staircase a makeover over the course of this month, so 4 weeks with only a $100 budget. If you missed what I did last week, I will share that in the description, and then also the intro video showing you all of the before of the space. As I explained last week, I wasn't quite sure where I was going to go, like with direction as far as what I was going to do this week. And it all was hinging upon James putting up some drywall. So he did do the one side, and I was like, that's fantastic. Do you happen to have any drywall to do the other side as well? And he was like, I actually do. So anyway, this part of the project is, what he's doing is completely free because we have the drywall left over from another project. We had no idea what we were going to use it for, and the mud and all the supplies we already had. So I'm excited about that. So I'm going to give him the space to work on that and then take care of the staircase in my final week. So usually I wait until the end of the project to do all the little details, but I'm gonna skip and flip things around this time. If you missed my other $100 room challenges, I will list those in the description as well, so you can catch up on some of the other projects that I've done. So this time I'm gonna work on some details, starting with shelving, some of the, like the light fixture and the hardware. I'm gonna give that an updated look, and I'm trying to think what else. I don't know. We're just going to wait and see what kind of comes up. Begin the process, and it'll just kind of snowball from there. So let's get to work. Two quick and simple updates today. First thing was that I used a product called Brasso to kind of revive and bring back some life and some of the beauty from our light fixture. Took the bulb out and then rubbed the Brasso all over it. I actually had that already on hand, just use an old rag. Always wear latex gloves so that you don't get any of the chemicals on you. And it just has brought, I don't know, just looks fresh and clean now. The other thing was all the hardware for the door and for the milk door. Now, some of those pieces are old, and I decided just to go ahead and spray paint them. First reason is because it's a basement staircase. So, I mean, not many people are gonna see it, except you guys. The other reason is because they're pretty rusted in the amount of work to go into it. And maybe someday I'll go and take the spray paint off and I'll be mad that I went ahead and did that. But for right now, it just is a good solution. Even though the rack that I was using to hang up the mop and that small vacuum was in great condition, it's only a year old, I don't know, just something about it just felt a little too modern. I enjoy kind of using something that maybe would be a little unexpected, or using mostly just something thrifted, just repurposing things. So I've decided to use a small peg rack that I found at a thrift store. It's just been sitting in my basement, just waiting for the exact right project, and the basement staircase seems to be it. So I'm gonna switch out that and I'm gonna hang my, cleaning supplies just from the peg rack. So I'm gonna give that a fresh coat of paint because it does not look like it's gonna fit into the space as it is. But I'm excited just to add something just a little bit different to the space. The last little bit that I'm doing today is the curtain rod. So when we moved in, I just quickly wanted some privacy for our basement door. That side door goes out. We own a couple of feet, then it's our neighbor's driveway and our neighbor's house. And from their house, you can look directly in and downstairs to our basement. And they don't really need to look at that. It's a mess. Well, after I'm done, it won't be a mess. Maybe they actually want to see it then. So what I decided to do before I put it up, I looked at it and it was brown, which is fine, but I'm painting all the hardware black. So I decided just to take it outside, an extra 5 minutes, spray paint it, so that all of those things, all the hardware, the curtain rod, everything will be cohesive. The curtain that was up there was actually a very long curtain. Just threw it over the curtain rod, and that's how we've left it for 2 years. What I'm gonna do is cut that the proper length so that it just covers the window, and then hem it and hang it back up so it actually looks like a curtain and not just a piece of cloth thrown over a curtain rod. We did decide to put shelves back in the space because it was nice to have shelving there. It just wasn't working the amount of space in between. There was maybe this much space and you could put like small water bottles there, but we couldn't put much there. It didn't function very well for our family. So we have decided to add back shelves, and I did the measurements and went and purchased the wood so that it would fit exactly in the space. We did 2 shelves on the one wall and 1 on the other wall. That's where the shutters are. If you go back to my previous video, you can see the story behind those shutters in the Once the stain was dry on the shelves, it was time to hang it up, but I actually had to run out. So James and our son hung it up, and they did take some videos. So let's see how they did. I decided to paint these wooden brackets the same color as the wall. Because I just love the stain color of the wood so much, I wanted that to stand out. So by painting this the same color as the wall, it just it makes it not stand out, because I'd rather the shelf be what is the focus as opposed to the actual bracket. So I put 1 coat of primer on, and then probably will need like 2 coats of the wall paint. Week 2 of our $100 room challenge as we make over our basement staircase is now complete. So let's take a look back and think back to what we did this week. Now, I had told you last week, and if you missed that video, I will link it in the description below. But if you missed out on that, what I was saying was one of two things was going to happen. We were either going to work on shelves and sheetrock and maybe some of the little painting details, or we're going to work on the staircase. So as you've seen from some of the work I've done, and as I'll show you the final product that we've, how far we got this week, I find out that did not do the staircase yet. So I promise this coming week, I will be doing the staircase because it is so ugly and I really do feel like it detracts from everything that we've done. So just put your blinders on, ignore the ugly staircase. I have something really fun planned for that. I also have something really fun planned for one of the walls and some other details. So this week, what did we do? We worked on the hardware, painting all of the hardware. It all needed a little bit of an updating, and spray painting it was the best option. James finished up the sheetrock, and as you'll notice in the videos and pictures in my blog, that I did not prime or paint it yet, and I will have to do that this week. Another thing that he did was he built me shelves. I had to buy the actual wood. I just used common boards from Home Depot, and I stained them. I already had the stain on hand, so I just had to buy the boards. And then the supports were pieces of wood that he already had, and he and our older son went and cut them and put them in so that they support the shelves. Now let's jump back to that peg rack that I was talking about. In some of the videos, you might have noticed it hanging up, and then it's gone. There's a reason for that. I had James take that back down because we're gonna do something fun on that wall, and it's just easier to do that when there is no peg rack on that. So look for that next week, that'll be back up. Thanks for coming by and checking out our week 2 progress, this $100 room challenge. It's been fun. I'm gonna be honest and tell you that at first I felt like this was gonna be a lame makeover. I mean, who does their basement staircase? I guess I do. But I'm really glad that we've done it. Again, like I mentioned way back when I first started this a few weeks ago, is that basement door tends to be open a lot. And I'm gonna tell you today that I think just this morning, over the course of a few hours, I probably closed it 10 times. So, but I didn't really mind having it open. I just closed it out of habit. So I'm thinking I'm not gonna mind so much when it's wide open all the time. But I'm really enjoying how it's turning out. And so now when I take video and take pictures and I look down to what the condition of our actual basement, I'm like, ooh, James and I are both like, okay, it's not gonna be, anything grand, but maybe we should start working on that space and just organizing it and tweaking it a bit. Now that we've done a lot in our home on the above the ground floors, we feel like, okay, now we can pay attention to where we actually store stuff, and not that it has to be, again, anything beautiful, but maybe so that we can make it work a bit better for us. If you're looking for any further information, if you'd like to take a look at pictures, links, or anything like that, you can go see all of that on my blog, thelittlebylittlehome.com. There's only one more week worth of work for this $100 room challenge, and it's gonna be a fun week. I'm really excited about it. My daughter's gonna step in and give me a little bit of a hand with the project. So be sure to come back next Wednesday. I will have the final reveal of our basement staircase makeover.